having fun yet?
Welcome to Barstow to Vegas. Incredible views like this are everywhere in the desert, but they're simply best experienced on a motorcycle off-road. After an incredibly long day of riding, if you're lucky, you make it to the finish. The Ramada Inn in Barstow, California, hosted this event for many years. Normally, once you arrive, all your body wants to do is rest. You're tired, you might be cold, might be sore, your butt might hurt from the seat, but there's a lot to do. You need to check in so they know you finished the event. You need to get your gear bag out of the trailer. You get the day 2 roll chart handed to you, any special instructions, your map for day 2, and you need to put that on your bike. You also need to do things like lube your chain, adjust your chain if you have one, change your air filter out, and look over your bike and fix anything that has gone wrong during the day. This year the weather was really cooperating. It was probably in the 40s with a light wind, but normally you can have a 30+ mile an hour wind and it's normally near or below freezing, making it really difficult just to get these small tasks done. It's one of the reasons that it's so nice to get to the finish during the day. Now I said, if you reach the finish of day 1, because this isn't always the case. I hear you lost somebody out there.
Yes, we've lost a girl.
Whoa. You're not the only one that's done that out there before. It's usually guys though that get lost.
Yes, we're a little worried about her right now.
So you're just gonna wait, see what the sweep has to say?
We'll just give it maybe 45 minutes and see if she comes in with a group of guys.
Well, thank God for what sweep does.
We had fun though. It was a great day.
Fortunately for everybody involved, the missing rider came in about 20 minutes after our talk. She simply rode in with another group of guys. At the hotel, they're gracious enough to let you park just about anywhere. This includes the walkway just outside the lobby. Now what I've noticed over the years is that each and every year, just outside the lobby, there are these perfect motorcycles. They're clean, they haven't been ridden, and they're brilliantly prepared. They're just ready to go. What I call these are the day tours. These are the guys that show up only to ride day 2, so they have their bikes right out front, ready to go. Something else we're fortunate enough to see every year is a support truck sent out by one manufacturer or another. These are the guys that make servicing or fixing something simple much easier because everything is at hand. Now if you've got something serious, like Ken did, these are the guys that save your ride. The start of day 2 was shaping up really nice. Unlike day 1, there were clouds in the sky, but nothing too threatening. Temperatures were great. Cold, but not freezing like normal. Things were going great. Only problem was, we turned the wrong way leaving the start. Apparently nobody was watching their roll chart carefully, so down the road I stopped and I said, "Hey guys, we're going the wrong way." So we turned around, went back to the start, reset our mileage again, and headed out the proper way. Embarrassing? You bet. Fixable? Yes. It felt great to be together as a group again, but this is Barstow to Vegas. No telling how long that would last. We headed out of town, this time headed in the right direction. After a number of miles on the pavement, we turned left onto the dirt. A winding dirt road, really beautiful except it was extremely dusty. The road then became very curvy, just a really fun desert dirt road. We caught and passed a few other riders, and then the route turned right, up a sand wash. A sand wash I like to call the wash from hell. The wash didn't look too bad on the surface, but the fact was this was extremely soft sand. So soft, in fact, going straight was a huge chore. As you tried to go straight, you basically found yourself going left and right from side to side of the wash, trying to stay within the wash. A mile or so up the wash, there were just people falling over left and right. There were literally bikes littering the sand wash. What was happening is that basically if your buddy fell and you tried to stop to help him, you were going to fall down, because stopping or slowing down was harder than keeping your momentum going forward. Now normally I'd find this all entertaining, but I was having such a hard time keeping in a straight line myself, bouncing off each side of the wash, I couldn't enjoy it. Here's Helly passing the lady who had lost her riding partner the previous night. She was doing great, and I witnessed her stopped along the wash, reassuring the guys who kept asking, "How long does this wash last? When do we get out of this?" She was just calm and collect, reassuring them that it wouldn't be too long. Here, Helly has left the main wash, and he's looking for an alternative route. All he's doing is looking for an easier line. Rather than riding in the deep sand in the wash, he's looking for a path with less deep sand, easier to traverse. This is the same thing I did. The only difference with him is that he's having much more luck at it than I did. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to contend with my riding buddy passing me in the deep wash and then roosting me, throwing rocks at me as Mike does here to Helly. At the end of the sand wash, we would regroup, tell stories, change our clothes out, and head on.
Yeah, me too, very hard. I slowed down a little bit.
I saw you get sideways one time.
Nice.
I just walked so hard I set my feet off. Why is this thing so twitchy in the back? You need another suitcase over there or something?
Yeah, we need to weigh that thing down a little more. Shedding a layer?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Oh, you have a fleece.
Dude, these things go better for that than those dirt bikes.
Well, because we keep the power on. A lot of these guys are a little afraid of that.
Just happy I'm not getting a flat, you know?
Dan eventually caught up to us. Let's just say he took a little detour in the sand. From here, the course continued on a 2-lane desert road with cross ruts. The 1200 boys were just pounding through everything. Day 2 was going great, and Chris and I jumped out in the lead. Yes, the morning was going great, and somehow we were staying together as a group. Sideways Mike was having fun. He was even using his turn signals for the corners. And the early morning scenery was spectacular. It happens even to the best. Helly gets sideways when he hits a rock with his rear wheel, and the rest was recorded in video history.
Yeah. Something got me sideways.
Yeah.
And just too much sideways. I slid for the longest time and then came up to this rock. Big boulder. I had to hit the front brake, otherwise I would have hit it.
It's a good thing they build them tough. Things were straightening out, for now, and I sure was enjoying the electric grips when speeds increased in conditions like this.
Here's our roll chart. I got straight. I could actually roll ahead to 7.2 miles here because it's my next turn. And you know, until you get to 7.2, everything is straight. So you can bypass all the straights and just have the turns, save you a lot of time.
We were making much better time now, and the terrain kept changing. There was open desert like this, then there was winding through the lava fields, long rocky desert roads with sudden washouts running across them, a few wide open areas where you could turn it on, and then of course it was back to the sand. Not every rider made it through this sand. This nice and upbeat rider had the deck stacked against him. He was still running the old dual sport type tires, not knobbies like you need.
It got deeper than deep. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
It makes me shiver just thinking about how many times he might have gone through this over the course of 2 days and so much sand.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm saying you're welcome while Ken did all the work.
Whoa, whoops. Not a good thing. Only thing worse than whoops is sand whoops. Oh, the trail goes that way. It's nice when you can get off on the side and miss most of the whoops. Kind of mandatory thing for your physical survival. Bottomless. Ah. Well, half the time it feels like I have a flat again like yesterday, but I don't. Not yet, anyway. Looks like enough clearance for mirrors. Through the tunnel we go. Someone built some rocks.
The rest of our group was well ahead, covering, you guessed it, deep sand and whoops. But along the way, they decided to stop and play a bit.
What's that?
Temple, it's a nutcase jumping the GS.
I'm gonna hit hard. That is so cool. Can we sit side by side? Ah, our cylinders will hit.
After jumping ahead of the rest of our group, Ken and I fell behind through a comedy of errors, the type of thing you tried desperately to avoid during this ride. This meant Ken and I had to take the bailout, the highway, into Baker, California, the next check and the next gas stop. A good friend at the check in Baker told me that the rest of our group had made it through and were on their way to Sandy Valley. After we fueled our bikes up, it was readily apparent that we were so late we'd have to once again take the bailout section, the freeway, all the way up Baker Grade to State Line and past Jean, Nevada. Sure enough, after a couple of miles on the highway, it began to rain, and we were headed toward a pass where it regularly snows. Now, over the course of 2 days of riding with the 1200 boys, I was kind of learning they might not be so straight in the head. I mean, this is not a race. No dual sport event is a race. It's a ride at your own pace ride, self-guided tour basically. But these guys are competitors. They've been competitors for over 30 years. What they do is they race. So when most people might let off when they're getting roosted by rocks and stuff, no, not these guys. That's when they accelerate. Here's how they handled a desert road while trying to find their way back to the course. How would you like to be the driver of that car? You probably wouldn't even know what just passed you.
Hey, do I have a nose left? Is my nose still there? You got a rock hit me right here. Hey, look at that. Another rock right there. I think I'm bleeding. I think that's blood.
Oh, really? Oh.
I was tucked down. The camera's still there?
Oh, yeah, it's still on. That was some fun, wasn't it?
I had it wide open. I couldn't get over 110. The air filter must be plugged.
Yeah, at one point I was at 120.
Okay, you seem like you have more power. I couldn't get any more out of it. I had it wide open. Either that or I couldn't get any traction.
Yeah, no more traction. Look at that wheel.
Yeah.
With antics like this, it's easier to understand how we just happened to meet Dan and Mike in a gas station as we exited the interstate. We were on our way to the lunch stop in Sandy Valley, which in our case should have been a dinner stop. Dan had actually found a way to get a rock into about a 1-inch opening in the front of the motorcycle to put a hole in the oil cooler. This meant he wasn't going anywhere soon. Helly would soon be on his way with some small parts to try to fix the problem. There was nothing we could do for Dan, so it was off to Sandy Valley, and man was it beautiful. Ride the Barstow to Vegas dual sport event and you'll see endless scenes just like this of the California and Nevada desert. It just doesn't get better than this. Those clouds are dumping rain, exactly where we're headed, Sandy Valley. I saw Jeff, who I had interviewed at the start, just ahead of me, zipping by on the highway. But as soon as we came around a right turn leading up to lunch, he had a flat, most sudden flat I've ever seen anybody get. And it was second on the day for him. He'd had a front flat earlier. Before we'd eat, we'd get gas. In this remote location, it's provided as part of your entry. After that, it was time to grab a quick bite and get back on the road. The friendly people of this town are gracious enough to accept us into their community each year. They set up the gymnasium of the local school to serve us lunch. I always get a good feeling when I come through here. Each year that we leave Sandy Valley, it's up a long, and I do mean long as in multiple miles, dirt road. At lunch, or should I say an early dinner, for myself, Ken, Jeff, and the others, it was readily apparent that everybody was going to head for Red Rock Canyon. They simply were going to ride Red Rock Canyon no matter what.
So Ken and I decided late to ride through Red Rock Canyon area still. And there's a whole bunch of people in that same boat, some of them just ahead of us, some of them behind us. Basically, they've come even from out of state just to ride Red Rock. That's what they want to do most. Heard it all day long. Unfortunately, the course is so long and such a slow, sandy, sand wash, so much of that everyone got to the last lunch and check-in very late. So it's making for an almost nighttime start even into the area. Sweep's already pulling down the banners behind us, but people are determined they're going to ride Red Rock. So we're going along. Ken doesn't have the lighting I have, so I turned on the PA lights finally, and this white light is really nice. I found out one thing real quick. It fills up the road. I actually took the left-hand beam and I put it in Ken's lane to my left, so I'm lighting up his lane and ahead for him, and he's slightly behind me. He says it helps tremendously, and I found out quick also that the white light cuts through the dust much better than a normal headlight. So we're riding in dust right now, and it cuts it really nice. There you see the riders we were talking to. Everyone was lost earlier. I think I'm going to slow down so my brother can see here. I'll go over here. And got 3 riders in front of us down there. Call this a rocky downhill, but it doesn't have rolling type rocks. That's cool. So there's a lot of rock fields leading to the Red Rock area. Imagine that. We wanted to try to get through that when it was light, but didn't make it. But like I said, everyone's determined. They're going to do it.
We made it to the highway where you basically turn left to go to Red Rock and turn right to go to Vegas. It was 42 degrees with threatening skies. We were met by an AMA ride official who informed us that they do lock the gate to Red Rock. They weren't sure of the time, but that we stood a really good chance of getting all the way through the Red Rock Mountains, coming out the other side and running into a locked gate. This would mean backtracking through the mountains, through the cold, and possibly running out of gas. Because of this, we were forced to turn right towards Vegas and take the pavement into town.
Okay, we're on the outskirts of Vegas, almost to the finish, and it just started opening up and raining on us. Cool, just matches the day we've had. Maybe it matches the 2 days we've had. Man, I was ready to ride, and Red Rock Canyon, they closed the gates. Orleans Hosting Hotel, right there.
The finish of a dual sport event is nothing to get excited about, other than maybe now you can rest and relax. There's nobody waiting for you, and after all, every other rider has their own stories about what it took to get to the finish. And this is what the Barstow to Vegas ride creates in spades. Lifelong memories of a very special and very long ride.
Is that better?
Ones that you and your riding buddies will never forget. And on that, I guarantee it. With Dan's bike patched up, the 1200 boys and Teach headed into town by the highway. They stopped to take in some sights and eventually came into the finish just after Ken and I. Helly gives Check-in his number and meets an old friend. It's Jeff, the one we've been following throughout this ride. We didn't even know they knew each other.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jeff?
Good.
Did you do the whole thing?
Yeah, I missed Red Rock. I got some flat tires.
Now it's time to load your bike and head out, or simply park your bike and head into the hotel. Either way, you'll have stories to tell for years to come. Dan tells me they think about the ride every day, and they're coming back next year no matter what.
They held up really good for what we did to them. We did some really bad things.
Hi, I'm Perry King. I love riding my motorcycle, but I never drink while I'm doing it. Don't spoil a good ride by drinking. Riding from bar to bar isn't riding, that's drinking. Stay sharp, stay focused, stay alive.